I'm here with Peter Tolle, the Chief Innovation Officer of Land Labour Australia, which also has branches in Kenya and Ghana and other places, just to talk about blockchain technology and how it can impact or help out when it comes to land registry. Thank you very much for having us today.
Yeah, thank you for welcoming me.
Yes. Let's talk about your company. What do you guys do, and which places are you in currently?
Yeah. So this is a company that was founded in 2014, and the reason we founded it was because we wanted to solve land acquisition problems for Kenyans living in Kenya and all over the world. But later on, we realized that the problems that Kenyans face are actually the same problems that migrants all over the world face. So we decided, well, probably we could be solving land acquisition problems for migrants all over the world.
Yeah.
When we started by innovating on the processes of selling and on the way we unleashed our products to the market, and it turned out very well. And in 2016, then we discovered we could actually also innovate in terms of technology. So we've done two innovations, market innovation, and now currently we are upping our game on technology innovation, where we have embraced the blockchain technology. I think it's coming up really well. So probably later on I'll talk a little bit about the blockchain technology and what exactly we're doing with it.
Okay. Okay. Actually, let's go there. But we have had so many issues with blockchain. Kenyans really don't understand, or maybe it's me who doesn't understand. But in the nitty-gritty, maybe you can let us know what is blockchain, what is the technology, how can it be used in Kenya. We've already seen the Cabinet Secretary for ICT constituting a team to see how blockchain can be utilized in Kenya. So maybe you can just, in a brief, tell us what exactly blockchain is.
Yeah, so blockchain technology, it's a very young technology that is going to revolutionize the way our financial markets operate, the way quite a number of sectors operate. And basically, it's a new technology that helps us manage data in a way that we've never managed before. So it kind of uproots the power that a single person would have in managing information and kind of awards it to a group of people, such that we introduce what I would call, some form of democracy when it comes to decision making. So what I usually say, or in summary, would be blockchain may probably be equated to a big book that is up in the sky. And if you can see that big book, you're actually part of that peer-to-peer network. So if you look up and you can see the book, you're part of that peer-to-peer network. And if you're part of that peer-to-peer network, then you may have a permission to write on that book, and invariably, most of the time, you will also be able to read whatever is written on the book. But most importantly, you have a copy of the book at your home, in your computer, in your laptop, your phone, such that whatever happens on the book that is up on the sky simultaneously happens on a copy of your book that is with you. Now, whatever is written on that book stays there for life. No one can delete it. Now, if then we make sure that our land titles are actually written on that book, the land title information are posted on that book, which you can see, then the implications are, number one, there's going to be transparency. Anyone who can look at that book will be able to see who actually owns a particular block of land. Secondly, the information that is posted there will be there for life. Thirdly, before any changes can occur, anyone who can see that book will have a right to refute, or agree. And if anyone refuses, then the system kind of goes to democracy and says, all right, how many of us here who can see the book will agree with what so and said? If no one agrees, then the system will actually post what the democracy is dictating. So that's the beauty of blockchain technology. It helps us manage data in a way that we have not done before, in a transparent way. It introduces what we call artificial trust, because looking at that book, because everyone else is looking at it,
Yeah.
everyone else is writing at it. There's transparency, so you don't really need to know, or rather, you don't need to trust the owner of the block of land. Like, for instance, if I'm selling a block of land, you don't really need to trust me because everything is written up there.
Yeah,
You just look
yes.
at the book. I forget about whoever is selling. If I like whatever I'm seeing on the book, I buy it without even doing due diligence on the person who owns that block of land.
All right. So the block of land, since now you're a land selling company,
Yeah.
do you also showcase what land you're selling to? If someone is from outside and wants to buy land, do they come to your technology to find out where and who owns which part?
All right. Okay. So let's go back to 2014, how we started.
Yes.
So we, as I said before, we started with market innovation. We tweaked the way we sell land, and most of our clients loved it. Within, I think, 6 weeks, we sold one of our projects that had 82 or 83 plots, and then we went to another one. We sold it within 2 or 3 months, and that's how we grew, and we even went to Accra. So we are using the same processes, but what we've done now, we've introduced blockchain technology. Now, whatever we're talking about right now is minimum viable product. What I mean by minimum viable product is, when you're developing a software, you don't really know what the market out there wants. So you come up with a product that has meaningful functionalities, but not so many, and then you get it out there to the public so that public can play around with it. And as they play around with it, then you get important information about what really matters to them.
Okay.
So within this month, we are going to release our minimum viable product so that Kenyans and actually migrants all over the world, because this is a multinational blockchain land registry.
Yes.
It's not just for Kenya, it's for Accra, Ghana, it's Tanzanians can use it. So it's a multinational. Yeah. Now, if you want to, for instance, buy a block of land, all you need to do, you come to our platform and we would have lists, a verified list and unverified list. If you're looking at a verified list, then that's a list that is actually on the blockchain. Yeah, and if a list is on the blockchain, what that means is several people have actually looked at it. Like I was talking about the democracy,
Yes, yes.
So I would want to technically call it a consensus, protocol.
Yeah.
So the consensus protocol has actually looked at those blocks of land, and they've all agreed, we believe this block of land is owned by so and so, and he has the rights to kind of sell or transfer the land to someone else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how you get the information. If I have land, for example, and I'm not on your blockchain, for example, how do you get me to put information about my land on your blockchain? How do you get the information about
So
land?
it basically goes back to 2014. We are a company that solves land acquisition problems. Now, there is a need out there. Land sellers cannot sell their blocks of land. Like, for instance, in the US, it's going to be very hard for you to sell your block of land. You probably have to come through us. If I pick your block of land as mine and go to the US, people may buy it from me because we have a name in the US. Yeah. So what we are doing at the moment, we're actually attracting people who own land and are unable to sell it because of the trust gap. So when they come to us, because we're offering a transparency, veneer on our platform, as well as trust layer, if you come to our platform with your block of land, most likely you may be able to sell it, within a month or 2 months, because people will look at it. If they like it, people will look at it and be like, oh yeah, at least it is trustworthy, because we believe this system is trustworthy. So people who come to us are basically guys who are wanting to solve, existing problems like inability to sell. Secondly, there are people who are worried that like, for instance, there are quite a number of people who live in the US, in the US, or in diaspora for that matter. And they're kind of afraid because they know the laws very well. In the next 12 years, if they're not actually inhabiting the block of land, someone else can take adverse possession of it. Yeah. So they would want to use our platform to kind of take care of the what we call squatter menace.
Yeah.
So we basically just attracting people with needs.
Okay.
That's what we're doing.
All right.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, how far are you with that in Kenya? Which projects are you planning to come up with in the future, especially
Okay.
for Kenya?
Okay. So basically, what we are doing in the next, within this month and probably early April, we will unleash our minimum viable product to Kenyans. So
What does that mean, minimum viable?
yeah, so that's the software. That's the software with minimum functionalities. Like for instance, if you're building a car, yeah, you don't have to have car with leather seats or a car with a massage enabled. No, you just need something that is functional. You
Yeah.
probably not. You don't even need to paint the car. You probably just need something functional. So that's minimum viable product. It's a software that has basic functionalities, just completely basic. That's what we'll unleash to the public in Kenya and in Accra and actually all over the world. Everyone will be playing around with it, and then we'll get meaningful suggestions from our clients, telling us, hey, you know what, we don't want this, we want this, or we prefer this to that. And then we'll take all their suggestions and then go back to the development process and carry on to build the final product.
So, when is the final product expected to come on board?
So the final product has many functionalities. Remember, we are the only company in the world that sells en masse land through land options. So a land option is like, you see, an option in the financial world is a promise someone makes that they would either buy or sell a product in future. So we are the only company in the world that does it en masse. So we are basically the authority in the world. So our platform will enable our clients to exchange land call options and land call put options. So it's a big thing. It's a
Yeah.
big thing. It will take time. We anticipate by 2020 September we'll have the final product. But from now to then, we'll only be using the minimum viable product, which is still functional.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. What do you think about the blockchain technology? Apart from now being used in land, what can other sectors in the world, where can it also be used? Where would you like the government to also, even as it constitutes a body to make sure that we start using this technology, where else can it be viable?
So blockchain technology, first of all, we need to understand the problems we want to solve.
Yeah.
Number one, blockchain technology is pretty good when it comes to solving trust issues. Number two, blockchain technology is really good when it comes to streamlining processes and cutting out middlemen. Because you don't need middlemen in you don't have to have middlemen in blockchain. So think of all those processes. One good use case is basically land registry. We do have a lot of middlemen, and they're actually the ones who are causing trouble. Now, with blockchain technology, especially if you use smart contracts, you could automate execution of contracts, legal contracts. So that means you don't need the advocate to enforce the conditions of the contract. You don't need the agent. Yeah. Secondly, look at the healthcare system. We do a lot of record keeping. Sometimes we would want some records to be there for life. That's one of the areas where the government should explore. Identity management as well. It's pretty big in the blockchain space.
Yeah.
And there's quite a number of companies that are kind of trying to look into that. Now, I don't know why I left financial market. Because it's big, especially in the US right now. If you look, like, for instance, Bank of America has several blockchain patents, that it has been writing probably for the last 4 or 5 years. So it's in the future. So banks, the financial companies in Kenya should basically be, looking into the technology, because it makes the system efficient, cuts off middlemen. It gives you imagine looking at the book and you can see everything as it happens. So, like, real-time data,
Real-time data.
Yeah.
Good. My question would be, if banks will use it, will other people get information about me that they don't need to.
Good. Yeah. So takes us back to solution architecture
Yeah.
of the
Of the
platform.
technology,
Yeah. Now there's quite a number of things you could do. There's so many types of blockchains. There's what we call a public blockchain, a private blockchain, consortium. Banks would probably use consortium. Yeah. But then again, as well, you need to understand that whatever goes to the blockchain is there for life.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like for instance, if you give us your details, we've got a way of concealing that information to prove that you own the block of land, but not necessarily tell everyone else who your name is. You get what I mean?
Okay,
So
yeah.
we appreciate and rather we respect your privacy, the privacy laws.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't get concerned
About
at all.
I think that's the most concerning story.
Yeah. We preserve privacy. We do.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much for having us.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you for
Very
having me.
interesting information. We hope that the government can also take up this technology and use it efficiently.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
All right.